Hi. I just wanted to give an update. I'm doing pretty well, all things considered. I'm still healing from the surgery, so the scar is still pretty angry looking and sensitive. So, yeah. I mean, it's not bad. I can't really be mad at that. I do have a follow-up appointment with the surgeon tomorrow, just to go over the pathology results and, you know, assess my healing process. So if you've ever heard me speak before, this probably sounds really weird. I don't really know why my voice is doing this now. In the last few days, week, whatever, it's like my voice has tightened up. So what has happened is, when I had the surgery, they found not only the obvious growth, which was the cancer. It was a almost 3 centimeter in diameter nodule, and then they found another one that was behind my thyroid that was somewhere between 3 and 4 centimeters. So that's why it looks like there's a little gap in my throat now, because there is. The thing was taking up a lot of real estate, so I'm kind of glad that it's not there anymore. And yeah, it does have this effect on my voice, which, as you probably remember, if you've talked to me before, used to be a lot lower and a lot more gravelly and a little bit raspy and husky and all those words that they tell you when you have a crappy voice to make it sound sexy or something. But I'm hoping that eventually that'll level out. I'm just sitting here looking at myself because I realize I went through all the trouble of putting on my makeup and just said screw it with my hair. It is what it is. Anyway, I just wanted to come on here and say hello, say thank you to everybody that's donated so far. I know for a fact that I wouldn't have been able to get through all this sanely without the help that I've gotten. Yeah, I mean, I started the fundraiser initially because I have a mountain of medical bills already, and this was prior to the surgery, to me even knowing that I had cancer. So yeah, I started the fundraiser around the beginning of October, and then also in the beginning of October, I went to go see an endocrinologist. I'd had the appointment for months, and I went to the endocrinologist because of the thyroid. My former primary care physician did not think that it was a cause for concern. Yeah. I had been under that doctor's care since 2019, and she discovered the nodules in late 2020, early 2021, and had sent me for a I can't talk right now. Sent me for an ultrasound to see if it was a problem. But she kept saying, well, your thyroid levels look normal, so it's nothing to worry about. And I disagreed. And she said, well, we'll just keep monitoring it. We'll do an ultrasound every 6 months. And I took issue with this because it cost me $500 out of pocket for every ultrasound. And I had 4. I had 4 ultrasounds over 2 years, So that's $2,000 that it cost me out of pocket. And I had other issues with that doctor, so I found another primary care physician, and I very much appreciate my new doctor. She's great. She also noted that my thyroid was swollen and bumpy, and asked me, do you want a referral to an endocrinologist? I was bamboozled by that old doctor. I mean, I was just blown away by the fact that my new doctor was immediately like, yeah, this isn't my field of expertise. Let me refer you to somebody that does know more about this than I do. Whereas my old doctor would have just been like, oh, well, I know what it is. I know what's going on, so you don't need a referral. I had also asked her for referrals for other things before, and she didn't think those were necessary either. So I'm glad I found a new doctor. And when I went into the endocrinologist back on October 3rd, she, did a once over, asked me questions, went over my chart, all of that, and then said, I think it would be beneficial to do a needle aspiration biopsy, and we can do that right now before you leave the office if you want. And it was a little bit of a surprise. I didn't think that I would actually be going in for a biopsy. I thought I was just going in for a consultation. So when she brought that up and she said, I really want to go ahead and do this right now, and I was a little bit shook. She reassured me that, it's the best thing, and then it would save me money in the long run, because I had told her about the multiple ultrasounds and she just didn't understand why that was necessary. So we did the biopsy there in her office, and a couple of days later she called me back and said, yes, unfortunately the nodules did come up as suspicious for thyroid papillary carcinoma, and I was a little bit nervous about that, but she said, we need to get you set up for surgery because that needs to come out. So she said, I'm going to refer you to a surgeon, and then they will call you to set up the appointment, the pre-consultation appointment, and then they'll go from there with surgery as to whether or not the surgeon recommends it. So I actually got a call within about 3 days from the surgeon's office, and they got me in for an appointment like a couple of days later. Super fast. Everything went so fast. And then while I was at the appointment for the surgeon, he said, we're going to try to go ahead and get you a surgery date before you leave here today, so that you know when to expect that, because they wanted to get it done as soon as possible. I was floored by the sense of urgency of these doctors. I've actually never experienced that before in my many years of being a medical mystery. So they called me another day or so later and said, okay, we have your surgery date. It's going to be for the 17th. And I was thinking, because initially when I talked to the endocrinologist, she said that they might not be able to get me in for surgery until around December. Made sense to me. And then, when they told me October 17th would be my surgery date, I got nervous, very nervous. And I was just really, really freaked out, because I literally got a cancer diagnosis and was scheduled for surgery in a span of 2 weeks. And then I had the surgery, and I still had not really come to terms with the fact that I had cancer. Like, I went through like an emotional roller coaster with all of the different emotions. A lot of tears, um, and then the recovery was rough. I won't go into too many details about that, but just trust me, it wasn't pleasant. I was really nauseous for several days, and just the adjustment from having a thyroid that makes its own hormones to switching over to a synthetic hormone really threw me out of whack really badly. And then, you know, I was on narcotics, and just it was like getting over a really bad illness, like when you've had a bad fever for a few days and then you come out of it and you feel shitty. But good thing is it's over now. I just have to heal. I have to get used to this voice, hopefully. And like, it still is like kind of wobbly. Like, you could probably, you might have heard while I'm talking that it kind of goes up and down a little bit. You know, my voice cracks a lot. I sound like I'm going through puberty all over again. It's weird. I don't really care for it. But if you had talked to me in the couple of months before the surgery, my voice was really getting bad. Like, it was really bad. I was constantly, like, I work in sales, so I was, you know, talking to people on the phone and having them constantly ask me to speak up, or I can't understand you. And I'm like, I'm trying my hardest, but, you know, it was very, very rough and very raspy, and it kind of sounded muffled. It almost felt like I had a, like, that's my dryer. Sorry about that. It honestly felt like I had something like muting me. Like, it felt like I had, like I was speaking through like a blanket or something, or a pillow. It was very, very frustrating. So now, like, I sound a lot clearer. Like, I can project my voice a little bit better. And it's gotten a little weird, especially like going back to work. Been back at work for a couple weeks now, and you know, like, I'll answer my phone and I'll talk to someone that I usually talk to on a fairly regular basis, and they're like, "Who is this?" And I'm like, "It's Dextra." "Oh, I didn't recognize your voice." Me neither. It almost sounds like there's somebody behind me talking, and I don't recognize this person. So I've had a little bit of an identity crisis about that, but I think it's going to level out soon. I hope so, anyway. I've had people suggest maybe a speech therapist or a vocal coach of some kind. I may or may not do that. I'm kind of enjoying the Mickey Mouse voice. My sister actually said that I sound like I did when I was a teenager. So that's really cool, actually, because I've had some trauma to my throat, and, you know, I used to smoke. I smoked cigarettes for 25 years, so I know that did some damage too. And then the surgery, and just the fact that I was packing around a swollen thyroid with a couple of hitchhikers, yeah, that'll put some pressure on your vocal cords, and it made me sound kind of crappy. I mean, I actually enjoyed the deepness of my voice, the richness of it, but yeah, once it got to the point where it was just sounding really weak and muffled and rough, I didn't care for that much anymore. That, and I do like to sing. I'm not the greatest, but I I enjoy it on a creative and emotional level. That's kind of like my therapy. Like, I have told people before, when I'm listening to music, I just zone out. I'm in the moment with the songs, and I call it going to church. Like, music is my religion. So, not being able to do that the same way that I did when I was a teenager, because when I was a teenager, I was a pretty decent singer. I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I was part of every choir class available when I was in high school, and I went to state competitions, and I used to be a first soprano when I was in high school. And people that have heard me sing in the last 10 to 15 years, I tell them that, and they're like, are you serious? There's no way. Now people will actually believe it, even though I've tried singing recently, like just earlier today, and it was pretty crappy. I didn't really like it, but I did find that some of the higher notes that I have been struggling with are a lot easier now, and maybe that will continue to improve over time. We'll see. But yeah, so now I'm at the point where I'm getting back to my normal life. I'm trying to kind of refigure out how I'm going to do my art thing, because I had made plans before all this happened to start doing weekly live streams where I'm drawing and, doing more projects and all of that. And then that's got put back on the back burner because obviously my health was more important. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out that. And I'm also trying to figure out how I'm going to afford a nearly $300 a month hospital bill, because the money that's been raised so far has gone to back bills for the most part. I was already about $7,000 in debt from just previous medical bills, because I have diabetes, I have nerve issues, I have arthritis, and then just various little sicknesses. Like a couple weeks before I got my cancer diagnosis, I had come down with a case of shingles that was around my eye. And if I hadn't had a friend point out to me, hey, have you had shingles before, or have you had chickenpox, because that's what it might be, and if it's around your eye, that could be a big problem. So, I had to do emergency telehealth appointment because it was a Saturday night. I didn't want to go to a hospital just due to my health conditions. I'm immunocompromised, so, I didn't want to be in the waiting room with possible COVID cases. I've been through that once already, and I don't want to do that again. So, yeah, just everything that I've been through in the last... since August, and it's November now, has been so overwhelming, and I'm never going to financially recover from this. I'm going to be paying off medical bills for a long, long time. So that brings me back to the point of this video, which is, just kind of putting out feelers again for the fundraiser, since I've gotten past some major hurdles. I managed to get my rent paid this month. That's great. However, I did have to borrow against my next paycheck, so essentially I'm not getting a next paycheck. I have an app that I use called Earnin, and it's for borrowing from your next paycheck. It's kind of like a check advance, only not as predatory because there's no like extra interest or anything like that added on. It's just like you pay a fee, you pay a tip to help the app keep going, and you can choose how much that is. And then when your next paycheck comes, they take their money back. So yeah, I had to do that to make sure my rent got paid this month. It sucks. I hate it. I hate the fact that inflation is what it is. The medical industry is what it is. My voice keeps wanting to flip on me. So I haven't quite gotten to the midpoint of my goal. So I'm pushing this back out again because, yeah, like I said, I'm not going to have a next paycheck. And I still have other bills to pay. I still have my first payment to make for my surgery. So the surgery was a little over $5,000. And then, yeah, so I had to break that up for monthly payments. That was what I agreed on with the hospital, and I don't like it. So I paid down up front as much as I was able, and then they set me up on a payment plan for 18 months. I wish they could have stretched it out for maybe 2 years, but you know, I'm happy that they didn't demand the full payment up front. Like, that would have been impossible, and I'd still be sitting here with a big lump in my throat and sounding like Tom Waits and Natasha Lyonne had a baby and fed it nothing but gin and Marlboros, which is how I sounded before. So, yeah, help me, I'm poor. That's basically what the whole gist of this video is. I'm hoping that, you know, things might change in the next few months or a year. Maybe I'll get my art thing going again and I can start pushing my Patreon. That's the thing. If you're interested, you know, you can find that find a link for it anywhere on my social media, but it's patreon.com/Dextra because I'm an early adopter to any new platform so that I can have my name. Anyway, I just ask that if you haven't donated yet, every little bit helps. I don't care if it's $1, if it's $5, if it's $50 or more. I am in no position to be picky. I would appreciate anything I get. I'm sorry I'm doing a lot of ums because this is very uncomfortable, and I hate asking for money from people, from strangers, from anybody that would be willing to help out a single woman in her 40s who just had half her throat ripped out and needs a little financial assistance. Yeah, anything that I can get will help. So if you've already donated, bless you. You do not have to do another thing. Matter of fact, if anybody that's already donated before donates again, you're my hero. I know there's been a couple of people who have made multiple donations, and I am just floored by that. So if you've already donated and you want to donate again, by all means, please. I don't expect you to, but you know, like I said, I'm in a rough spot, so I need the help. But the best thing that you can do is share it with your friends, especially if you're you have kind of a high profile social media presence. Please share this with your friends. share my story. If you want me to, I will come on the post and answer questions, or, you know, just talk to people. Clearly, as you can see, I have no problem talking all day long. I do it for a job. I do it because I have ADHD, and that's kind of my jam. So, yeah. I'm going to shut up now because I've been talking for over 25 minutes, and I feel like I'm just kind of repeating myself at this point. So, again, too long didn't read, too long didn't watch kind of summary of things. I'm good. This is healing. I put on makeup today for the first time in forever, and I'm poor. Please donate, please share, please keep me in your thoughts. I mean, that's all I can really hope for. But yes, thank you all for watching all this. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being a donor. Thank you for just caring about me and my well-being. Obviously, you probably wouldn't be here if you didn't. So, thank you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I no longer have Pustulio or Lumpy Space Princess. I never really settled on which name. Now I have this thing. It's kind of keloiding a little bit. What was the name of Oscar the Grouch's little worm friend? Inchy or Wormy? Wormy. I think it was Wormy. This reminds me of Wormy. So I guess maybe now I can actually ask someone if they would still love me if I was a worm. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop talking now because I'm starting to weird myself out. I've been listening to myself talking and it just sounds weird. Thank you for putting up with me and my nonsense and being helpful. Later, taters.